I can't believe it's fall. It's foliage season. I'm so excited. This time of year brings the cool weather finally. So coming up next, we're going to take a look at a great dish that's a cream-based soup. So we're going to do creamy sausage and corn soup. Now, cream-based soup versus chowder. This soup is not a chowder, so it actually is incorrect to call it one. Cream-based soups involve a thickener from time to time, and sometimes it'll be a combination of dairy to achieve a creamy base. Cream is wicked expensive on my side of the pond here, so I'm going to use half and half. True chowder never has roux, slurry, bacon, or tomatoes, and it's not thick. It's always been a thin, creamy consistency. So that's what a proper chowder is. Now, if we want to take a look at the other, which would have been a bisque is primarily heavy cream, so we're not even going to be able to call it a bisque either. So now that we're working with a cream-based soup that will have a slurry, let's go take a look at the ingredients, because you're going to find everything. In fact, there's a lot of versatility in this, and you've got a lot of control on the spices. So it's kind of nice. You could take a little ownership. So let's get started. Now, freeze this so you can write it down or copy-paste it to a Word doc. Keep note, you are in charge of the seasonings. Slurry should be made ahead of time. It's equal parts, so half and half, cornstarch, equal amounts, mix it well, put it on the counter. And everything here you can go and grab at your local store or farm stand. So we're going to start by harvesting the kernels. So grab a bowl, cut off the corn from the cob, and remove as many of the silk threads as you can. If you can't do it, it's okay. It's nothing imperative. Some people are not a fan of it, but you definitely want to save the cobs for the stock pot for this recipe. I'm working with a house-made beef stock, and those beautiful cobs are going in the pot. I try to avoid waste if all possible, and this is a great way to use all that corn flavor. So on medium heat, let it have a gentle boil, but you want to reduce the stock by half. And the time, it's going to be about 15-20 minutes, so just be patient. And once it's reduced by half, remove the corn cobs. After they cool, you can squeeze the rest of the juice out, or it's done its job. The sweetness in the corn cobs is definitely going to add a lot of great flavor to this. So once that's done, put the stock in a separate bowl to the side. Now, 1 red bell pepper. I said red because I like red. It's eye-catching. You can use whatever color pepper you want. It's entirely up to you. Now, we want to keep it almost the same size as the corn, so we're going to do a small dice. Because ultimately, I want every spoonful to have a taste of everything you're putting into this. That's what makes this beautiful. Now, I have to admit, asparagus is probably one of those out in left field, but it's beautiful in this dish, and I had a good sale. So we're going to get rid of about 1 to 2 inches from the bottom, and then we're going to proceed to make thin sliced rounds. This will still cook it, but it's not going to make it mushy either. You're going to have it al dente by the time it's done. It's actually perfect. And I'm a sucker for color in my dishes. So this definitely adds flavor, color, and you're boosting your vegetable intake. Now, I'm going to admit it, I'm calling for a hefty amount of garlic, because that's how I roll. However, up to you. Finely chop this up. I'm using elephant garlic. You can use whatever fresh garlic you can find. You want to do a fine dice on this, and it's certainly up to you. You don't have to go quarter cup. If you wanted to give it a start, try 2 ounces. You probably could get away with 1 ounce, to be very honest with you. Now I'm working with local beef sausage. This is much darker than traditional sausage, but use whatever you can find and cut it into small bite-sized pieces, nothing smaller than the corn, and certainly not too hefty of a size either. And I control how much salt goes into this recipe simply because we all know sausages are cured and you don't want to overload yourself. So I'm using the last of what I have for butter. It's about 3.5 tablespoons. Now I'm going to run on medium heat, so that means I need to control any burning that may potentially happen. So I've got about a tablespoon, maybe 2, of olive oil. And ultimately, I'm going to start building with the vegetables. But first, we're going to grab the thyme, and it's very easy to remove from the stems. I love fresh thyme. It's cheap, easy to find. Quite honestly, if you can't find it, dried is fine. But this is your decision on how far you want to take it. I put estimates because that's typically a good starting amount to work with. If you have dried, start with a tablespoon just to play it safe, because sometimes if you're getting a brand new bottle and you're bringing it home, it might be intense. So just be careful on how much you put in, because it's easy to put more in than it is to take out. Don't believe the hack about a potato taking away the salt. It's not true. It's just not true, honestly. It's why it's important if you can develop a palate. You know how much salt you like in your food. You'll only go so far. You may in fact be someone that doesn't want salt in it, and that's perfectly fine too, because you can have just enough salt in that butter to take care of what you're looking for. Sumac is a good replacement. I will certainly say sumac is a citrusy, has a salt element to it. It's a beautiful spice. You could easily use that. Now, as I'm getting my thyme facial, yes, I am. I love this part of cooking. I'm looking at everything as I put it in, and I'm thinking to myself, how far do I want to go? I may want to go a little more, I may not. But I typically will get myself a good 1 to 2 tablespoons, because I know eventually I'm going to put liquids in this. That's going to throw my seasonings off. So all the more reason to taste test as you go. Now the butter at this point, I'm very happy. It's not browning. So that means we've got good control on the heat. And I'm smelling the thyme crackling with the aroma coming right up to my face as I do this. So I have to make sure I remember not to burn the butter. So grab your bowl. We're now going to work on the vegetables. And at this stage, you're probably going to only want to do this for 3 to 5 minutes, give or take. But you don't want to walk away. You certainly never want to walk away, especially with a cream-based soup. The whole point of it, we don't want to build a fond. So in other videos, I've shared this info, but in case you don't remember or you've never heard of it before, a fond is what develops at the bottom of the pot or pan, which develops this brownie bits of awesomeness. It works great for so many things that you make, but we're doing cream-based soup, and I don't want a brown cream base. That's going to look a little gnarly. So stand by, keep stirring. We want to get the heat to hit this as best as possible. In fact, you'll see some of the colors intensify a bit. It's actually beautiful to watch. I'll start seeing the green become a little effervescent. It's beautiful. And it's great to have the ability to see the process come right in front of you. I'm seeing here, I love the color. I know that I'm cooking it appropriately. I've got good time temperature management. And that's going to really make a difference at the end because it's a cream-based soup. Now, grab your garlic, your spices, and your sausage. So why am I waiting for the garlic at this point? So ultimately, we don't want to overcook the garlic, because if we hit that garlic with that melted butter and oil already in full swing, you're going to overcook it. You really are going to overcook it. You don't want to do that. So with the garlic going in now, it's going to have a chance to cook beautifully, will be insulated with the vegetables that you've got in here. And you're ultimately preserving a beautiful garlic flavor. And look at the spices. I'm really hitting it. Now I'm going by my own personal preferences at this point, but I know again, if I have to put that fluid in, it's going to change the spice ratio I've put in. Might taste excellent right now, but I'm going to fudge it up if I put my fluids in. So again, we're just going to make sure we're tossing and turning, and we're going to put that sausage in now. And basically, we're bringing it back up to temperature. You figure your veggies are hot, the sausage is cold, so now we want to bring everything up to temperature. Doesn't take long, probably another 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm still maintaining the beautiful color of the vegetables and the corn. It's certainly looking beautiful, quite lovely. And no fond, still no fond. That's perfect. Now, we are almost done, believe it or not. We're at the next stage where we're going to have to start considering the fluids. So I'm just doing a once-over, making sure I haven't missed anything. Do I have enough garlic? Did I put enough of this? Did I put enough of that? I'm typically a doer, and I don't hesitate. But I'm simply just showing up close what we're looking at. And right away I can see that the sausage is taking on more color. So I know it's a good indicator that everything has come up to temperature at this point. And now I'm having a sausage and vegetable facial. Again, cost-effective, people. It's beautiful. So you're going to do another adjustment. I know it might frustrate some folks, but ultimately that's the safest way to avoid over-seasoning. I love time. In my house, there's never enough time. Pun intended. I'm looking at this from okay, we're going to put the fluids in. I know that we're definitely going to want to make sure that the seasonings are going back to where I need them to be. And here we are. We've now got that corny beefy stock. That was definitely a corny joke that I didn't even intend to do. Please forgive me. Now, you may see some of the timestamps come up. Just go ahead and grab them. It happens. It's not really avoidable. It's inevitable. So just go ahead and let them float to the top. They're easy to remove. Boom. Done. And with everything here, I'm seeing such beautiful colors are still surviving to tell the tale. I'm happy with the way this is coming out. So we're at the point next we're going to start considering the dairy element. We're not using full cream because it's too flippin' expensive. Half and half's going to give me the same satisfaction. It is half cream, half milk. And I'm putting the whole quart in. Yes, I am doing the whole quart. Now, for those of you that might be sitting back saying, oh my God, all the fat, all this, all that, please breathe. Please take it easy. I am not serving this whole pot for myself, although I probably could get away with it for my husband, but I still wouldn't allow it. This is going to give me the ability to serve at least 4 to 6 servings, believe it or not. And now that we have the fluids in the pot, still got a taste test. So I'm grabbing a spoon. I'm going to see, do I need anything else? Do I want more seasonings? At this point, we're so close to being done. It's crazy. It does come together pretty fast. So I know I wanted more salt. Definitely added more salt because, putting in more fluids is what's throwing it off. But it's an easy fix, and I love an easy fix. And I can see that the stock, the butter, the half and half, they're all coming together beautifully. And we're going to take a look at just how well a slurry can mix everything together and make this beautiful, beautiful dish, actually, come together. So I've added more black pepper. If you don't have black pepper, you could certainly use white pepper, because I find cream-based soups, chowders, and bisques, white pepper is a sexy, sexy flavor. Just be mindful, it's a little more intense, so you don't want to kill yourself with it. So I'm at the point here, I'm thinking I've got everything homogenized well. Now I need to consider that slurry. So remember earlier I said get your slurry together ahead of time? Yeah, I didn't do my own step. In all fairness, I was dealing with a horrible oral surgical procedure. I ended up having complications, and I was lucky I had enough energy to make this. Let's put it that way. So don't do what I did. Or do it and just say screw it, like I said it. Now, the half and half I actually poured, and I let it sit on the counter while I was cooking. I put the cornstarch in, and now we want to just make sure we're mixing it up. You never want to use hot fluid to mix cornstarch in. You're going to run into a big problem. So with the utensil, I'm vigorously stirring while I add the slurry in. And we want to be careful about time and temperature control again, because we don't want this becoming a thick, fudgy mass, because that's what slurries can do. It can take a pretty thing and make it ugly and nasty, and you're just not going to like it. So we're still working with medium heat. This is still trying to come up to temperature because we had the stock and we had the cream added. So now we have to get the heat back up again gently. So that's why I'm still stirring again. And I can see right away with what I'm using, I can see changes already in this base. So take a spoon and run your finger on the backside. That is beautiful. I might take it a little bit further, but if it's not going to run after you run your finger over it, you know you're close. This comes together fast, so definitely do not walk away. Always make sure you're stirring. Now at about 3 to 5 minutes more, you could shut the heat off, and I would recommend removing the pot from the heat source. That way it has a chance to relax without potentially overcooking itself. This is just, it's so easy to make, so satisfying. And for those chilly nights, or if you're like me and you dealt with a horrible surgery and you wanted something almost real food, I got sick of soup for a while, I gotta tell you, but this really made me feel more human. So we're gonna go and take a look at the final result here. So it is going to gradually thicken on its own when you remove it from the heat. That's okay. You're going to avoid the fudgy mess. And that's the ultimate goal with this. It's creamy, light, and you're not feeling like you're a dead weight on the couch after eating. So as you can see, this comes together pretty fast. I love to make this with garlic toast. I'll just use the pan and grill up some bread, garlic butter, thyme. I know my husband likes grilled cheese with it. And it's a perfect dish for all your farm stand favorites. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you joining. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share.